I thought there were a lot of police here before. Maybe too late to ask, but you're not bad with crowds, are you, Morgan? She's kidding, right? It's downright airy in here compared to what we just waded through. Wide eyes and clenched fists, heads peeking over shoulders and around signs. Police, both mechanical and warm-blooded, closing ranks with holograms and quick-set wires to draw a severe perimeter. While protesters, mourners, fanatics, and busybodies shuffle about the edges of the police line, the heat of their panicked anxiety washing over. Who the hell were all those people? Well, there have always been people with strong feelings about our products. Android stepped forward into the mob, gently, firmly, unfeelingly parting the human tide. Most of them with official police branding, but a few remotely deputized consumer models emerged from the crowd to join them. All of them built by Noble. All of them built from David's code. All of them standing vigil outside his tomb. This is all technically company property, isn't it? Yep, David had the penthouse all to himself, but every other floor's tenants are Noble employees too. Not an uncommon arrangement in Uptown. Work at Noble, rent from Noble. Wave hello to your Noble neighbor in the morning and make sure to request a spot in line at the official company crematorium. They don't actually do that last part, I think. Does Noble handle employee funerary arrangements? Yeah, it's a pretty standard benefit actually. It's cheap for them compared to dental. But Noble's always been generous with benefits. Work hard and the company will have you set for life. And after. Both the state and Noble have gotten themselves entrenched here in the lobby. Security and damage control and PR and liability. Everybody just glad to be working. I'm feeling a little overstimulated. Any chance we can just skip all these checkpoints? No, absolutely not. So who do we need permission from? The cops? The company? My requests went through, so we should have the go-ahead from both at this point. We won't need to go near the actual, still called a crime scene if it's not technically a crime? I don't want to think about how many suits Noble's paying to debate that question right this very instant. David's vault is in the penthouse's basement. But we can't get to it from these ground floor elevators. We'll have to ride straight up to the rooftop veranda, walk in his front door, and then head down. If Jess says we can do all that without stumbling across where he died, then... Okay. So if we just flash my ID card at any problem that comes up, including him... Hey ladies, look, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid we're at capacity at the moment. Let anybody else by and we won't be able to maintain... Huh, you're that lawyer, Morgan. You caught me, detective. How long's it been? Feels like it's been ages. Oh dear, not still bitter about our last encounter, I hope. Oh, Liv. I don't see the spunky one around. Is she taking a mental health date, or is there that unflappable charm? Detective Reyes is around. Why, you miss her that bad? I've had blind pimples that were more endearing. You two know each other? Jess Starling, lead homicide detective, Qasim London. It's a pleasure, miss. Oh, likewise? As you might have guessed, the detective and I are acquainted. Comes to the line of work. Morgan's being modest, sweetheart. We're practically blood. Oh, wow. Me? Sweetheart? Something wrong, Starling? No, nothing's wrong. But close as we are, I still can't just let her walking off the street onto the scene of an ongoing investigation. Even Noble's lawyers have to play by the rules today. Play by the rules, so there is a game afoot. What makes you assume I'm here in a professional capacity? You were a criminal defense attorney or at a crime scene. Call it an old man's intuition. Good detectives don't rely on intuition, though, do they? They rely on evidence. Oh, I don't rely on it, don't worry. I just need to lean on it every now and then when my back acts up. Oh, cool. Guy gets a bit of gray in his hair and thinks it's a free pastime, like a goddamn cowboy. Well, I'm afraid your intuition is off this morning, detective. I'm here on a private matter. The deceased wasn't your client? No, that would have been a conflict of interest. Conflict of... you two knew each other. I see. In that case, allow me to give you my condolences. Thank you. What I could really use is a bit of your help. Sure, really fast. Jets? Right. We have this clearance here, detective, sir, from legal, which allows us... That's alright, little lady, I trust you. You can leave the paperwork holster for now. Little lady? We aren't here for David, really. We won't be setting foot anywhere near your staging area, detective. Alright, why not? How generous. I can afford to be generous today, because if I screw up, gestures to the lobby is full of suits and cops. Plenty of folks at hand ready to pick up the slack. Well, if you're that at ease, perhaps I can take this time to ask you a few questions. Hey, you can always ask, Tiger. But I think you understand what I mean when I say whether or not I can answer is not entirely up to me. You're looking a bit haggard. How long have you been here, anyway? Since this morning. Civilized folks don't call it morning when the streetlights are still on. Even if you got here around 1 or 2 in the morning. Still means homicide wasn't brought in until hours after Noble had the lay of the land. Sounds like you could use a break. I could use a retirement package. Hey, you're a lawyer, right? According to all my business cards. Think I can sue for elder abuse? Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. You would lose, though. I already regret asking. Why have they got a homicide detective losing sleep over this anyway? The man is dead, and he wasn't killed by a fire, a vehicle, organized criminals, or disinformation. As far as we know. So at the moment, homicide is technically not the worst fit. But we're leading in name only. A high-profile death like this, everyone's got an eye on us. And a hand placed firmly on the back of our neck. I've been checking my phone, but the only thing the news seems to agree on is that David passed away. Sorry, but if you're asking for details... No, thank you. For not letting them make this into a parade. Yet. We do our best to respect the privacy of anyone involved with an ongoing investigation. He declined to say victim. Detective, Dr. Osher was a close friend of mine for many years. Yeah, he trusted Morgan more than anyone. Can you tell me if he killed himself? It looks like that's the case. I see. Thank you for telling me that. Dr. Osh? Yeah, you're, well, sorry. Another round of guarded words. David was an important man, and it has only been a few hours. But all this tiptoeing gives me the feeling that whatever happened to David, it wasn't cut and dry. You boys and Noble are getting along with each other, sharing your toys. Some of the younger ones are bristling. But I always play well with others, Counselor. And how well do the Megs play with you? Do they give you full access to building security? They've given us access, and they say it's full. Some big penumbra system, top-of-the-line coverage, top to bottom of the building. The size of the dating stream's torrential. It'll be a while before we can start making sense of it all. A more conspiratorial man might think that was intentional. Bury us in data and hope we're too swamped to find whatever they're trying to hide? Maybe. Wait, they give you full access to the penumbra? But that means every android in the building is feeding you their full spectrum. You know your stuff. The penumbra pulls data from any androids connected to a building's net, but that's not much help since there weren't any androids at the penthouse. Right. You know, I'd heard the rumors, never put much stock in them, but it's true. Asha really never owned a single android. Never. I suppose I might do the same if I was the genius who programmed them all. Every time they opened their mouths, it'd just be his own lip service refracted 1,000 times over, echoing back at him from behind a mask he carved. So that means all you have to investigate with are the penthouse's security cameras. Yeah, but that should be more than enough to wrap up a case like this. In a good way, I mean. We're very much on top of this, ladies. David was one of the biggest names in tech. He was the face of Noble Electronics. Uh-huh. One could argue androids are only as common as they are today because of his contributions to the field. Some people felt that way, sure. So do you think anyone would want to hurt him because of that? Remind me, which one of us is the detective again? You really won't let me pick your brain? You already know the answer. Yes, as a controversial, androids especially. We at Noble are aware that our product is sometimes the subject of heated debate, but no need to quote the handbook at us, miss. Truth be told, I've never really understood the aim. It's not that complicated, is it? How many people have lost a job to an ad at least once in their career? Every last one of them lost their jobs because their bosses, their flesh and blood bosses, fired them. Nah, ads are just a symptom. Scratch that. Ads are just a product. Getting mad at them is pointless. And vandalizing them is less than pointless because unlike us, they're all insured. And besides, Android Productions has surged over the last decade to become one of the nation's biggest exports. True, nice to have at least one thing we make in this country. That's right, Noble only outsources the production of a small handful of internal components. Every other part of the manufacturing process is proudly done right here at home. I somehow doubt everyone considers the pursuits of the Noble supply chain to be a point of national pride. But you don't need a political science degree to see how much the state values Noble's contributions to the national economy. Alright, now listen, I don't mind being helpful, and I am trying to be sensitive here, but we really do have a lot of our hands on it at the moment. So I'm going to have to ask you to be discreet, and ideally fast. Well, our business is just in the basement, David's basement. The penthouse is on the top floor of the roof, so its basement would be second to last floor if you want to be technical, detective. The point is, we don't need to go into the kitchen or the parlor. We'll go straight back to his workshop and then head downstairs. The kitchen and the parlor. I understand. But all the same, I'd like to escort you two ladies there myself. Wow, an escort, like royalty. Isn't he a gentleman? Yes, he's... Lead the way, detective. True to his word, London ushered us past the chattering suits and humming drones through the checkpoints and into the elevator. As it climbed into the sky, we got a good look at the growing throng of people gathered outside, and its shifting makeup. Seems like it's mostly protesters now, or worse, brand loyalists. Idiots led around by the nose their whole life, following the must of whatever trends is laid out before them each morning. Today's trail having led them here for half reasons they couldn't put into words even if their lives depended on it. They're like insects. And they look like them from up here. They're probably already preparing their spin. The Misunderstood Genius of Dr. David Osher, a video essay in 5 parts. Why the company insisted on cultivating such a following for him, I've never understood. They could have easily pinned his achievements on someone more marketable. Some random photogenic employee or a fashion model with glasses. David wouldn't have minded. He never wanted the attention, the chaos. Maybe it's as simple as bad luck. He just happened to have the right look for the part. A man buried in his work with his eyes fixed ahead. This is what? His laboratory? His shop, he called it. How down to earth. It's messy in here. David was always disorganized. Why a programmer needed to make such a mess just to run tests on computers, I'll never... Sloppy as he could be, he didn't like when other people saw it. If he was leaving things like this, he must not have entertained any guests down here in some time. Thanks for all your help, Detective London. Don't mention it. What, you want me to step out? It won't take long. Not lacking for boldness, are you? Look, I have to take a phone call. We'll be in and out as soon as possible, promise. And whatever Dr. Ash wanted it set aside for his foundation, we'll be sure to flag it. Right. At least she's already wearing gloves. If we find a dead body, it'll be our first call. Morgan, what was that stuff about his foundation? Dr. Ash's charity has always been managed by an outside group. You haven't spent a lot of time around crime scenes, have you? Actually, this is my first. Well, generally speaking, it's not really common to retrieve things from the premises while the cops are still searching them. Oh. Look, if David had something to give to me, we can go get it. We just can't make a ton of noise about it, understand? Of course. Great. After you. Right. Quiet as a church house. The phrase is quiet as a church mouse, but... Caught myself. Okay, I'm okay. But now doesn't seem like the time to correct her. David's shop was a mess, but the mess felt familiar. It was very David. Coming down here, I barely recognized the place. For starters, there's a goddamn gym. David hated exercise, always claimed he didn't have the time for it. Even when I got him that treadmill and the subscription for the personal coaching program with the scheduling subroutine, said he couldn't find the time. And then even when I explained to him that the program accounted for that and adapted to his schedule, he still... Morgan, what's up? You're smiling. What's so funny? Nothing. Just surprised to see the place renovated. Yeah, he actually had me on mail tag with a couple contractors a while back. Never thought I'd have to learn so much about concrete and wiring and marble. Did you know marble needs to be treated or else indoor air will start to corrode it? I didn't know that. Is that true? Wait, is it not? But a guy told me though that without an epoxy finish the entire bar table could... Put the vault over there then. Yeah, stands out I guess. Nervous? What's that? Oh, a little I guess. The inhaler helps, mostly, so... Aren't you going to open it? Open it? Don't you know the combination? No, I do not know the combination to David's basement vault. Oh. Oh! Oh, no, how could I... He didn't tell you or give you a code, or... He gave me the code to get into the building. And the parking garage. Not the code to whatever this is. Okay. You know, there were a lot of scattered papers back in his shop. Could he have left you a note on one of them? Yes, he could have. He would have. In fact, I think he probably did. You just stay right here, Morgan. I'll have this settled in just a sec. Sounds good. Right then. It's definitely locked. Looks like it's a Tetris Basic Certicure anti-hack, anti-digital high-rated code panel. Nothing basic about it, but at least I can see the passwords limited to 6 characters. Only 1 million possible combinations. Forget it. There's a different terminal over here. College security systems, according to the label. Maybe to control the whole room? Damn, its password is protected too, and the code's 64 digits long. What's the point of a camera system that's harder to crack than your literal vault, you egg-headed? Okay, yeah, a programmer probably would care more about his IoT than whatever he can fit in a safety deposit box. Guess it's a 6-digit vault or nothing. But I'm a lawyer, not a lockpick. And whatever other felonies I get up to in my private time, I never pulled up a bank heist before. The only tool I've got here is my head. So what do I know? I know whatever David put in his safe he wanted it kept secure. And I also know that you wanted me to have it. So maybe he thought ahead. Maybe he guarded it in such a way that I would be the only one who could get to it. David liked games, and he really liked beating me. So if he's left one last puzzle for me, I don't mind going another round. It's a very big painting. And it's, impressionist? No, cubicle. Yeah, cubicle. That sounds right. Whatever its style, I do remember that David liked this painting. If there was a date on it, that could be a 6-digit password, but I don't see one anywhere. Maybe signing your work was considered gauche amongst the cubicleists? This must be a spare liquor cabinet. Damn, there's a lot of good stuff in here, and a lot of bottom shelf swill. Kind of bargain bin vodka and nose burner whiskey that only an undergrad programmer could love. Nostalgia sweet like that, overpowering. 1 part per million can cover up even the cheapest aftertaste. David's wine collection, still towering over the room. Don't know why he'd buy so many bottles, he didn't even particularly like the stuff. Maybe just to fill out all these shelves. But not all the bottles are untouched. Some of them don't have dust on them at all. There's a mechanism for retrieving bottles off the rack. The latest bottle chosen was Margie Camp 81. Could be significant. Except the vintage is only lists the year they were bottled, not the month or day. It's not enough digits for the code. Taking a closer look, this is a pretty serious looking set of resistance training equipment. And these weights, they're all set near the max. If Noble hadn't appointed him a nutritionist along with a stylist, David would be downright scrawny. There's no way he was putting up these numbers. In which case, the digits on weights could be a clue. But there's too many and I can't guess the order. So what the hell, Asher? Did you just set all the weights to max because it looked more neat? This flooring's a new addition. It looks rough like sandpaper, but it's bouncy, rubberized. Feels like something you drag your feet on at the gym or on a factory floor. It's more high performance than high class. Expensive, but not in the way you'd expect for a penthouse. Well, scratch that, it's actually cracked here. Rubber doesn't break, it bends, that's the thing. So someone must have cheaped out during the installation, left a defect in. That, or David left a jackhammer on overnight. Alright, I searched the whole room now. Time to make or break. $11:25:58, the date the painting was signed. A password that is and isn't left in plain sight. Nice one. Hey, Morgan, how did you get it open? What is that? I turned back around just in time to see a door finish swinging open with mechanical grace, revealing a girl with a barcode emblazoned across her temple. Required by law to be plainly visible. It's an android, clearly marked as such. Yet, even standing this close, I could swear it's snoring? I stepped forward and placed the back of my wrist on the android's brow. Warm. It must be a prototype for the Animate 16. Or maybe a prototype for the 17 or 18? Biomechanical android with real human flesh. Sorry, biomechanical, yes, but it's organic flesh, not human. They're going from lax Gemini cultures, but Sorry, I misspoke. Right, understandable, since you seem surprised, Jess. Hasn't Noble been working on warm androids like this one for a few years now? Warm androids like this one? I mean, yes, we have. Sorry, it's just the particular model is it's very cutting edge. Bleeding edge, judging by the flesh on those cheeks. I think it's safe to say that we've found what we're looking for. I think so, too. That presents a problem, then. Oh, do you not, approve? I've got nothing against androids. My concern is a bit more immediate and, well, practical. Practical? I don't know how to turn it on. Do you see a switch or something? Do you? Can we, turn it around, or? I poke the android's ribs. A little less give than I expected, given its frame, but the rigidity's remarkably lifelike. I place my hand on the shoulder and give it a shake, but it doesn't budge. This thing has to weigh more than... Right, androids mostly transport themselves, so people are always surprised to find out they're a bit heavier than they look. A bit? I'm surprised the whole room isn't slanted. There's no way in hell we're moving this thing without waking it up. Crap. First the vault, now this. I was able to guess the combination just by poking around. Compared to that, finding this hunk of junk's power switch should be child's play. And I think I know where to start. Jess, I'm going to step back into the lab for a moment, alright? Huh? Oh, sure, I'll, there's gotta be a manual around here. Good idea. Might be some kind of prototype, but it's still got a barcode. Maybe you can scan its GIN number and find something in the company files? Yeah, of course. All generic ID numbers should be paired with industry standard files on maintenance, tracking, power requirements. I somehow doubt that the enigmatic android taking a catnap in a sarcophagus in David Osher's basement will have a user manual, but it can't hurt for her to try, and... I'm okay. Broke a heel, but I'm okay. I carry glue. And I'd rather search the lab by myself. Now then, if I were David and I wanted to make sure that only one person would be able to walk out of here with that android, how would I set that up? These appear to be holding tanks for something. How should I know? No labels on anything, typical for a genius. But a nightmare for anyone trying to pick after him. It's a lot more hard science than I expected in here. Centrifuges and glass and microscopes. Don't programmers do all their work with a keyboard? Haven't seen one since college, but this must be a 3D printer. Of some sort. Feels expensive enough to make other printers look like soda fountains by comparison. Better not mess with any of the settings. Diagrams of human anatomy. The hands are highlighted. The most developed part of the human body, good for making stone axes and sending emails. Robots and frames can do just fine with claws or 3-digit imitations, but androids are expected to look like people and move like them too. Getting the hands right must be a big priority at Noble. That tree-like shape on the right is a neuron. Suppose branches receive input of varying weight, and then if the sum is greater than a certain threshold, then are on fire, so that 0 becomes a 1, and all the other zeros around it take that into consideration. Repeat that a couple billion times a second, and you've got the human brain, computer powerful enough to simulate all of reality. That's the analogy I read in a magazine, anyway. Looks like a fairly normal computer. If I'm lucky, the security would be fairly normal as well. Buddha complete. Username? Vocal commands. David Osher. Morgan. Guest. Thank you for logging in as a guest. Didn't recognize my voice, so I could probably rule out a vocal command being the key to waking the android. Do you have a question? More than one. For now, though, what should I search for on his computer? Search files for Morgan. 23 results on the local drive. I can work with that. Mostly phone book and social data. I don't recognize this file type. Some kind of personnel format? Date of birth, education, occupation, blood type, height, and weight. Alright, buddy, a little invasive, don't you think? DNA and fingerprints. Now why do you have that, David? My DNA isn't in any database. I've made sure of that. So he couldn't have bought this anywhere. He must have collected it himself from a wine glass of the lake. It would have been easy to do. But why do it? Alright, I'm starting to get a pretty clear picture of what it'll take to turn on this android. Got the what for the where and how. I'll just have to manage. Still just a piece of machinery. If it really won't turn on, I can always start hitting it. Morgan, there you are. I've looked in every registry I could find and every database I could get into, but I don't think this android is in the system. It was a long shot. Don't beat yourself up over it. Yes, but an android without the proper identification is. It's only buying or selling an android without proper identification that's illegal. And it doesn't seem like you ordered this online. I guess you're right, huh? We'll have it registered soon enough, anyway. I think I've figured out what we need to do here. Oh? If David really wanted me to have this, he would have left some way for me to turn it on. What are you thinking? David had my fingerprints and my DNA on file. By acquiring both, he could be reasonably sure that no one was powering up this android without my approval. You've done a swab before, haven't you? Every month for the company. Apparently they're building a database on employee epigenetics cross-reference with... Oh, so you're gonna... My DNA and my fingerprint make the key. Now, where to find the lock? The lips are one of the most sensitive parts of the body. Not the worst place to make a scan, even if it is gross placing my finger there. Oh, that's still not doing it, huh? Come on, do I really need to push my finger deeper? Jiggle the key? Oh man, you went right in there. You touching the tongue? It's blinking at me. Come, moment. Good morning to you, too. Cute. Hello, I've never seen you two before. I guess we should introduce ourselves then. Hi. This is Jessica Starling. She works for Dr. Osher. I'm Morgan, a friend of his. Got all that? I understand. She's Jessica Starling and you are Morgan. Last name unknown? No, Morgan is my last. Father told me about you. Oh, he did? Wait, Father? David? You had it call you Daddy? I am referring to Dr. David Osher. Are you confused? That's not the word I'd use. I'll throw a bone beyond the grave for the good doctor and just move this along. Did David say that he was giving you to me, transferring ownership? Ownership? That is correct. And what else did? Mostly correct. Right. And what else did he tell you? Many things. Can you specify? I thought conversation was the first thing David figured out how to program. Did Dr. Osher tell you anything that he wanted you to convey to Morgan? A message you were supposed to pass on? Yes. Jess, I think it's trying to. Oh, okay, sure, I'll give you two. Well, I'll give you some privacy, Morgan. I've actually gotten about 14 messages in the last 2 minutes, so... I'll just head back up to the lab to take some calls, okay? Thanks, Jess. Yes, thank you, Jess. You're welcome. Just the two of us now. So what do I call you? My name is Sarah. It's nice to meet you, Morgan. Trust me, the pleasure's all mine. So what's the message? Father told me that I would be living with you from now on. And he told me that you would look after me. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Should it? Model this lifelike with warmth and breath and something close to blood in its veins. Just what are you, anyway? You forgot my name already? It's Sarah. What are you built for? You're warm, obviously. You're not one of those physical therapy models, are you? That would be highly illegal. I haven't completed 500 hours of study at a state-approved massage therapy school. I haven't even completed 1 hour. What purpose did Dr. Osher design you for? I don't know the answer to that question. You don't know why he built you? No, should I? How can you not? Do you? Would I be asking you if I did? I meant, do you know why you were created? Why you were born? Why? Why me? Why would you? Why are you doing this? You're a freak. Monster, what the hell's wrong with you? Please don't kill me. Please, why? Why? Why was a monster like you even born? Guess I walked into that one. I was starting to wonder if you even had the Turing solution. Father's framework for programming linguistics in artificial systems, and the body of work for which he first gained international recognition. Yeah, an international jello. Do you have an answer to my question? An answer as to why you were created, why you exist? Occam's razor. I'm here because my parents wanted me. I see. Then I will give a similar answer. I was created because Father wanted to make me. Can't argue with that logic, can I? Can't argue with that logic. Father did say that you're a lawyer. Yeah, that's me. You're a lawyer. And I defeated you with logic. World-class, high-power attorney, the best defense money can buy. So do you catch criminals? That's what cops do. Do you litigate criminals? That's what prosecutors do. And do you fight for the underrepresented? Expose injustice, sue corrupt corporations and officials? I don't think anyone does that anymore. Then what do you do? I'm a criminal defense attorney. A defender of the innocent and powerless. Uh-huh. Do you also? Now that you know all about me, what can you tell me about yourself? I've never had to do that before. First time for everything. How old are you? I'm not sure I can give a satisfactory answer. 0 for 2 on answering simple questions. What's the date on your earliest memory? 2 years ago. And where were you constructed or assembled or whatever? What facility? I was not constructed at any facility. Father created me here, by himself. You're saying if I took you apart, I wouldn't be able to find any markers of any manufacturers, any IDs of any designers? You want to take me apart? David was a programmer, not an engineer. How could he build a custom android from scratch in the comfort of his own home? He couldn't have. He must have had help, probably a whole department's worth. If I ask around, there's gotta be someone in the company who can ID this thing and help me figure out what's so important about it. You don't look like any android I've ever seen. What are you made of? This body is comprised of organic tissues integrated directly into cybernetic systems. They require organic nourishment, including water, carbohydrates, and salt. Wait, warm androids have to eat and drink? They cannot be worth that much trouble. My cybernetic systems operate largely as analogs to their equivalents in the human body. I have a respiratory system for oxygen exchange and a centrally located pump that circulates oxygen. You mean you got a heart? How quaint. But where does all the extra weight come from? Pardon? I tried moving you earlier and it felt like I was pulling against a truck. My skeleton is a combination of medical-grade plastics and military-grade titanium carbide alloy. That sure took the wind out of her sails. My muscles are made of adaptive rare earth alloy nanoweave fiber with shock absorption and kinetic chain potential rated past... Wait, did you say military grade? I have a grip strength of above 1,000 kilograms. I can run at sustained speeds over 60 kilometers per hour. I can jump 6 meters vertically. I can lift approximately... I'm not sure what kind of grip strength most androids are walking around with, but I've never seen any of them move the way it's talking about. Even just standing there, it seems to be poised, controlled, spring-tight, strength and flexibility, like a ballerina or a gymnast. Strong enough to flip over a tank, lifelike enough to avoid detection. As long as it never stepped on a scale, it would make for the perfect infiltration unit. Perfect weapon if you could keep its development a secret. Did David really put something that heavy on my plate, dismantling a military prototype in secret? Are you deep in thought? But a military infiltration android would look more crew-cut and forgettable. And would David really devote personal time and effort just to make another weapon for the military? I have other features I could tell you about if you'd like. If I shot you, would you die? It would be very painful, and there would be a discharge of fluid, but conventional weapons would not prove particularly effective. That settles it. This thing's a weapon, sure as I... Would you like to know about my hair? Your hair? I'm impressed you notice. Each fiber contains miniature solar cell lattice technology, allowing you to remain charged throughout the daytime. That must come in handy. I haven't actually had the chance to use it yet. This room is ambient wireless charging functionality. And I haven't gone outside much. Okay, maybe it's not a weapon after all. You're just a pincushion, aren't you? I am not familiar with the term. Searching. Pincushion, jargon, design. First prototypes filled with experimental technologies to check for compatibility issues. Got an idea, not sure what to do with it? Stick it in the pincushion. As good an explanation as any phone I'm staring at. A mishmash of state-of-the-art military features spliced with odd new technologies and seemingly pointless additions. The end result being a singular, unsellable android that wasn't particularly good at anything and would break down after only a few years. Pincushions are a small but valid part of the field of android manufacturing. They are valuable to collectors who see them as time capsules filled with their designers' most outlandish ideas and least reproducible results. But even the most nonsensical pincushions are built via committee over years, with numerous engineers and programmers adding in their pet functions. The android before me claims to have been built by one man. A man who's now... Seems we got off track there, Sarah. Was there anything else David told you to relay to me? Besides that you were to look after me? He also told me that you were reliable, and that I should trust you. He said that I was to listen to you and obey your instructions. Finally, some good news. As you say, Adonai. What's that? That word you called me, what was that? Adonai, from classical Hebrew. Translated literally, it means my lord. Do you prefer that I call you master? No. Very good, Adonai. Might David use Hebrew, though? Abrahamic myth tells of servants constructed out of earth and clay, designed to resemble and obey their masters. Golems. Father must have found the comparison appropriate. Amusing, more likely. It's just a joke. Father would not make light of such a thing. Sure he would. Perhaps you should ask him to clarify his reasoning for himself. Where is Father, by the way? Is he upstairs? When was the last time you were active? 38 hours ago. Thursday night, then? Correct. Right. David Osher's dead. He died last night, understand? How? May I see him? See him? No, I won't be able to see him. Funeral's probably not for a few days. Father was not... He was not sick. I don't feel like doing the whole song and dance with 2 robots in one day. That's very charming, but let's go to commands only. What happened? Did he have an accident? Why is it still doing the theatrics? Does it not recognize my authority yet? The police have determined that he committed suicide. For the time being, we have to focus on getting you properly registered. Maybe then you'll take commands the first time I say them and not... The police are wrong! Excuse me? They are wrong. Father did not commit suicide. He would never do such a thing. He told me... Look, Sarah... I'm... sorry? You're sorry? Father said you were his friend. How are you so calm? I've been around death a lot. So don't try to lecture me about grief, Spearmint. My name is Sarah. You will use it because my father, Dr. David Osher, the greatest programmer in the world, gave it to me, and he did not kill himself. Let's say you're right. David didn't commit suicide. If that's the case, the police will realize that soon enough. The police have already made their determination. That's what you just said. Father said that you were a lawyer, that you were capable and reliable. And a friend. You should be looking into his death. That's... Is that an order? Of course not. It is a request, Adonai. A request that I'll have to refuse. The police have their job and I have mine. If I stick my nose into their investigation any further, they'll come down on me hard. Cops don't like lawyers on principle, but what they really hate are people who tell them how to do their job. Let's go. We need to... Father asked you to look after me. Yeah, he did. He also said you should obey me, but you don't seem quite as fixated on that part. And he said something else. He said that you owed him a favor. One favor. The thin ice starts here, Spearmint. That was between him and me. Father is gone, so now it is between you and I am calling in the favor now. What? You don't have to take care of me anymore. Consider that request null and void. You can sell me to some collector, you can donate me to a university, doesn't matter. In exchange, you will prove Father didn't kill himself, and you will make sure that whoever hurt him is held accountable. Why are you laughing? It's you and me, not you and I. You and me. David would roll over in his grave if he knew you'd gotten that wrong. It was not my intention to amuse or rotate. No, that's for damn sure. Fine, I'll take that deal, Sarah. You mean you will prove the father did not... I mean I'll look into it. I'm a lawyer, I don't prove anything. I just disprove what I can. Then where do we start? I didn't realize you had a law degree. I do not have a law degree, but I am a fast learner. This isn't a job interview, and I am far from useless. Yeah, it did raise at least one good question. Where do I start? I'm a defense attorney, not a police detective, and David was my friend, not my client. I won't be able to poke around at all unless... I am also capable of... Can you tell a lie? I'm capable of making statements that are false. Guess that'll have to do. Are you going to ask me to lie? Yes. To the police, in fact. Lying to the police is a felony. Androids don't commit felonies. They make errors. I see. What kind of error did you have in mind, Adonai?